You know what I need you to do right at this very minute, right at this very moment? In fact, close your eyes just for a second. I want you to actually go back. Go back to actually being a kid in the summertime, right? School just let out, no specific trip, maybe not a specific vacation, but I want you to just go back to that particular feeling. You there? That feeling when you woke up and there was nowhere you had to go. There was no alarm, there was no meeting, there was no commute, maybe just a morning, maybe just summer. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember waking up and the first thing I felt was possibility. Like the day was a blank page and I got to write whatever I wanted to write. I could be as big as I wanted. I could be the baddest BMXer around when I was a kid. Could be a small thing playing in the sandbox, hanging at the park with my friends, and I could be nothing at all. And somehow, nothing actually felt like everything. You get where I'm going here? I remember the smell of outside. You know what I'm talking about? Like someone would sometimes say, "Hey, you smell like outside," already coming through the screen door before I even got out of bed. I remember the sound of the neighborhood slowly coming to life. I remember sleeping in to sometimes noon. Not that I was lazy, because the rest felt earned and reassured. And, and summer kind of earned that rest spot. You know what I mean? And when you hold that feeling right now, don't analyze it. I want you to just feel it. All right. You with me still? Great. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to open your eyes. All right. Now, what was the last time you felt like that? When was the last time summer felt like that? Because here's what I know. And here's why I wanted to do this episode with all of you, all my great listeners. Thank you, by the way, just for you. Because most of us let summer become something it never was supposed to be. You've turned it into a performance, almost like a checklist, so to speak, a competition. I follow the top 10 things that I need to do in the state of Wisconsin this summer, that kind of stuff, right? Who's with me? Like the bucket list, right? And today we're going to talk about just that. We're going to disrupt that a little bit. And by the end of the episode, I want you to walk away with conviction and not a list, just a conviction about you and about how you are going to live your summer. If you're new here, my name is Michael Hicks, and welcome to Live to Thrive, the Michael Hicks podcast. And this one's a little bit more personal for you. I want to turn into the next segment, the problem with summer, when that season became a performance. Now, let me ask you something to all my listeners out there. How many of you have seen my posts? You know the ones, the bucket list posts, right? And I just kind of alluded about that. Here are 47 things you could do with your family this summer. The ultimate summer bucket list for couples. If you don't do these 12 things, you're wasting your summer. You get where I'm going here? And that's the crazy thing about all of this is and we see these, and part of me understands it. I get it. I'm an influencer. I post as much as I can related to my brand. People are attempting to be intentional and attempting to make memories. And I get it. I really, really do. Yet here's what is also happening. We're consuming someone else's definition of what I call a good summer and then measuring ourselves against it. And now summer isn't restoration, and summer is kind of like, I think of it as a report card, and for the CEO in the room, the leader, the entrepreneur, the executive, let me talk to you just for a minimal second or couple seconds here. You're probably someone who lives by execution. You know what I'm saying by this? You got the quarterly reports, right? You've got your target your quarter targets, your KPIs, you close things, you accomplish things, and somewhere along the way you brought that same operating system into your personal life. And maybe it's even into your family life. And summer begins to become a project to manage. Vacation then becomes a deliverable, right? And family time gets scheduled like a board meeting, which I still think is very important. But let me continue here. And when you show up physically, yet you're not really there. You've checked into the resort, however, you haven't checked out of work mode. Still with you, right? Can I just get mirror honest with you for a second? This is not leading your family. In fact, that's managing your family, and that's the huge difference. And let me talk to the women out there, to my women listeners. Thank you for being here too, by the way. I appreciate you in more ways than so many other things. So, because often women, the moms, the women listening right now, grandmas, wherever you are, you're the ones who usually plan the summer, right? You research the camps, you map out the road trip, you figure out the kids are doing every single day of the week so nobody is bored and nobody is in front of a screen all day. And in the middle of executing everyone else's summer, where is yours going? And when did someone ask you what make this summer meaningful? Like, what would make it meaningful for you? Or what would fill you up? And what does rest look like for you? Because here's what I know, and some of you are going to feel this honestly in your chest. You can give everyone the perfect summer and arrive at September absolutely depleted. And then wonder why you're already dreading fall. I hope that's not you. And to my teacher friends out there, because I've done this for a while, I've been teaching in the teaching industry for a long time. And teachers, you deserve a special moment right here. You just survived another school year, right? And you just like so refreshed, and you poured into your 30 or sometimes even 150 students, and you carried that anxiety through tough seasons at work. You solved their problems because teachers, we know you get like 3,000 million questions a day. You walk in and there's a question, and you gave your days and maybe even your evenings and maybe even your weekends. And now summer's here and people act like you should spend it getting ahead of next year, planning the next unit, doing professional development, maybe figuring out a new way to redo your classroom. And let me just give you permission for something. Rest. It's not lazy. Rest is what makes you excellent next September. Don't forget that. That is powerful. And let's get biblically here for a second. God himself even rested. Not that he was tired, he rested as it being sacred. So rest is truly part of the design that we're meant to be. So this episode today isn't about what you should do this summer. It's for helping every single person that's a listener to this podcast. And if you're brand new here, thank you for being here. Figure out what summer is supposed to mean for you, for them, and then having the conviction to live it. So here's a little bit of framework that I have it. There's two kinds of summer people. And here's why both of them are actually right. So what I want to give to you is like a framework today. And what I want to start is with this observation. There are really two kinds of summer people. There's the doing it summer person, and there's the being it summer person. You with me so far on this? All right. So, and if you're one of these two. So the doing summer person, they love the bucket lists. They want the road trip. They want the camping adventure. They want the concerts under the stars, the new city they've never been to, the big family reunion, the theme park, the summer project that they've been putting off because they've had no energy, right? They're obviously more energized by experiences, and they feel most alive when they're doing something, making something, and actually going somewhere. Where? Is that you? Is that you? And then there's the being summer person, where they want to sit on the porch. They want to read 3 books that they never got to. They want to watch the sun go down with a glass of lemonade and feel the actual temperature change from day until evening, and just maybe be present in that moment. They want to be restored by the stillness, because doing nothing energizes them. Can you guess which one mine is? I might be a combination of both, but I know one particular that I am. Now, here's where it kind of gets complicated in marriages. And I need couples to hear this. And if you're part of a couple, take this to your significant other. What happens when a doing summer person is married to a being a summer person? One of you is exhausted by the itinerary. One of you is restless without one. One of you say, can we just relax? Well, the other one says, but we're wasting the summer. Or you can sleep when you're dead, right? And you're both right in some regards, yet that's what I want you to hear, is that you're both right. And that's the most important thing, because the problem isn't the one of you wants to go and the other wants to stay. The problem is that nobody has had the real conversation about what this summer is actually for. What does it need to do for your family? What does it need to do for your marriage? And what does it need to do for you as an individual? And here's the thing, and this is the insight that I wanted to be the headline of this episode. The right summer is the one you are convicted about. Not the one Instagram designed for you, not the one that your neighbor is doing, not the one your kids are lobbying for, the one that you, as the leader of your home, as a couple, as an individual, decided on with intention. And I want to talk to the CEO of the household here for a second, because I talk to a lot of CEO of your house, of household individuals, and there's no season where the calling is more visible than the summer. All right. Summer removes the structure. The school calendar goes away, the routine disappears, and what's left over? Whatever you built, right? My daughter does Bible study during the school year. That's on pause. In business, when the structure gets removed, what separates the great leaders from the reactive ones? It's vision. The great leader already knows where they're going before the structure disappears. The reactive leader scrambles. So summer is almost like a leadership test. And the question isn't, did you do enough cool things in the summer? The question really should be, did you lead your family with intention? And did you know what this season was for? And you cannot answer that question if you never asked it. So I put down this next segment here is the 7 dimensions of your summer. It's not a bucket list. I'm going to call it a blueprint of sorts. All right. So instead of a bucket list, are you ready? I want you to give something better. I want to give you 7 questions or 7 dimensions to think about as you architect your summer. As you walk through these, I want you to be just mirror honest with yourself. There's no right answers and there's no grades. There's just actual mirror truth. Here's the first dimension. If you're taking notes, now's the time to jot these down. What does your body need this summer? And I don't mean a workout plan. I mean, what does your actual physical self need? Some of you are running on fumes. The first thing your body needs is sleep, real sleep. Like not the sleep that you get on Tuesday night because you stayed up answering emails, watching Netflix. I mean, sleep where you wake up and the room is already light and you feel like a human being, right? Some of you need to be outside. Not exercising outside, but just outside, like sunlight, fresh air, the feeling of being in actual nature. I love that too, by the way, which our bodies are so designed for. So some of you, and I'm talking to like the entrepreneurs here, who haven't really taken a real vacation in many years, your body is storing stress like a warehouse. And no amount of productivity hacks will fix what a week actually rest will do. In fact, I'm reminded of a Bible passage. It's Proverbs 17, verse 22. It says, a cheerful heart is good medicine. However, you cannot have a cheerful heart when you're physically depleted. Rest is not optional. Rest is what I would call a stewardship of the temple that God has given you. So here's the question. What does your body need this summer? Not what does your to-do list need? What does your body need? So, dimension 2. What does your marriage need this summer? Couples, this one's for you. Let me ask you that maybe this might sting a little bit, but it's going to be very direct. When was the last time you and your spouse laughed? Like actually laughed at something together? Not a polite chuckle. I mean, the kind of laugh that makes you feel like the two of you are the only two people in the room. We have this, my soon to be wife, we do this challenge called the Ashley Challenge, and it's symbolic because that's her sister's name, and she's like, oh gosh, every time I see you guys do these couple challenges, I just throw up. That was me talking like her, which I didn't do justice. However, so I purposely name it now the Ashley Challenge. So I got one that's coming up in my feed here soon where Amber and I are just laughing, like just laughing. It's hilarious. So summer is the one of the best opportunities I feel that your marriage has all year, because summer has the potential to kind of slow things down. You don't have the school pickups. You're not running from here to there. You don't have the soccer practice, the whatever insert practice. You potentially have some flexibility in the mornings. All right. However, that potential doesn't make it really automatically or become really automatically. You have to kind of protect it. And let me kind of explain that a little bit more. So what does the marriage need this summer? Maybe it needs a trip. Maybe just the two of you. Maybe you go to a nice park right by my house. There's Harrington State Park, and I love it. I've gone there so many times that we've walked, and you can sometimes get lost, but just no kids, just real connection. Maybe it needs something even smaller, like maybe a weekly date that isn't Netflix, where you can actually talk, where you can communicate. Maybe what your marriage needs is a hard conversation you've both been avoiding. And summer really kind of gives you that space to finally have it. And I always say this: the health of your marriage is the health of your household. You cannot be the CEO, men, of your home if your partnership at the center of it is running on empty. So let's talk to this really about the husband here for a second. I want you to ask your wife this question. What would make this summer mean something to you? And then just listen. Men, don't fix, don't plan it. Just listen first. Ladies, I want you to ask your husband the same thing, because I promise you he's going to have an answer. He might not have all the words for it immediately, but he's going to have an answer. All right. Dimension 3. What does your faith need this summer? Now, this could be a hard question, especially if you're just Christian-esque. Christian-esque is someone that just goes to church on Sunday, and that's the only time they hear scripture. I got to tell you, you have to fill your day every day in scripture. There's so much powerful discernment and wisdom in there, and it allows you to be closer to God as well. Because here's what I see happening. People who are deeply faith-driven, they get so busy executing their faith, serving, attending, leading, but they forget to receive from their faith. They forget to just sit with God for a second, not ask for anything, and maybe not even confess anything. Just be with him. You remember those conversations of just being with someone and not being able to have to talk? Like, don't say anything. It's a powerful relationship. But summer can kind of be like a Sabbath season for your spirit. it can be the time when you take that long walk and actually talk to God like he's walking beside you, because he is. And he can be that time when you sit with scripture, not to study it, but to let it speak in your life. And it can be the time when you pray for your family with intention, not out of duty, however, out of desire. So, what does your faith need this summer? What's one thing you could do or stop doing that could really deepen that relationship? Ironically, I just want to share a quick story with you. I was in the dentist office today and I had a crown put in. For those of you that don't know my entire story, there's a lot of trauma with dentistry for me. Growing up, my mom just pushed candy on me, so I literally rotten teeth. They were green, they were bad, so a lot of drilling, old school in the 80s, right? You hate that noise, you hear that noise, and it brings back trauma. Well, today they had to do that, and I I I cringe. I was exhausted from it, and I had to persevere because I got to get this episode out. But I wanted to share that beat with you because during that time frame, that is something that I'm very fearful of. And dentistry has kind of created some past trauma. And during that, I just was praying, God, just be with me, be with me. And honestly, I heard him say, I'm with you. I'm with you. And you may call me odd, you may call me weird, but I know for a fact he was. And it turned out great. It really did. It stunk in the beginning, but it turned out well. So that is why I entered that dimension for you. So dimension 4 is, what do your kids need from you this summer? Not what do they want? There's a big difference. I said, what do they need? Here's the thing. Kids have their own experience of the summer. It's completely different from our adulthood. Man, I can remember reflecting as a kid. I loved summer so much. And for a kid, summer is freedom. Summer has possibility. Summer has a chance just to be a kid without pressure or performance. And what they need most from you isn't the most expensive trip and the most packed schedule. What they need from you is just your presence, your full, undivided, phone in the other room presence. I've talked to so many families where kids said the thing they remembered most about vacation wasn't the theme park or that fun, cool beach house. It was the car ride. When dad was telling stories about mom and mom was laughing and everyone just sat there together. There was no agenda, nothing. It was in those very moments. So, you know, and what you do, or what do your kids need from you this summer? And one memory they couldn't get from a screen. All right. Maybe one moment where they saw their parent be genuinely fully present. And for parents who are still working during the summer, that's okay. I'm not here to make you feel guilty by any means, or, oh, there's another teacher that has an opportunity to be off in the summer. No, I'm talking about, you decide. There will be moments each week that should be non-negotiables, moments that belong entirely to those specific family days. Does that make sense? So, dimension 5, what do you need just for you? This one is especially for my women listeners in the room. Honestly, everyone, I want you still to hear this, but what do you need this summer that has nothing to do with anyone else? Moms, women, you do everything for everyone except for yourself. Is it in the morning to yourself, not to be productive? Just have that cup of coffee, maybe sit in silence and just think. Is it a habit that you've been putting off for like maybe 3 years because you kept saying, when things slow down, guess what? Spoiler alert, things never slow down. You slow down. Is it a friendship maybe you've let drift? Is it a creative outlet? Is it literally just sitting by a body of water and staring at it because something about water just centers you? You're not just a function for other people, ladies. You're a whole person. And the most generous thing you can do for people who depend on you is to refill yourself so you have something real to give. You can never pour out of an empty cup when the first thing you've done in the morning was give to someone else. I like to start my mornings in scripture, in prayer. Every morning I do that. So what is it? What does the Michael out there or the Maria or whoever you are, what do they need this summer? And dimension 6 is, what does your community need from you? I want to introduce this dimension, but that it doesn't get talked about much in the summer conversation. I think that for some of the best summers are the ones that you've done something or that you gave something away. Maybe this summer, your family does something for someone else. Maybe a service project, maybe an act of generosity, showing your kids that summer isn't only about receiving experiences, it's about actually blessing others. Or maybe this is the summer where you invest in a friendship that's been one-sided. You pour into someone who needs it. You show up for your neighbor. You check on someone who nobody is checking on. I recently had someone just reach out to me and they asked for some money. I gave that to them. I was blessing someone because God's blessed me. And Matthew 5:16 says, let your light shine before others. Summer is a great metaphor for light, right? It's got long days. It's got long days. It's got warmth, open the windows, open doors. What if your family decided this summer, we're going to let our light shine in at least one way that goes beyond ourselves? And it doesn't have to be enormous. Sometimes the smallest things create the longest ripples. And here's dimension 7. What story do you want to tell in September? This is my favorite one. And it might be the most important one, and I'm going to explain why. Imagine it's September. The fall rhythm is starting. The kids are back in school. You're back in your work mode, whatever you're doing. Someone asks you, how was your summer? What do you want that answer to be? Not, oh, we were so busy. It went so fast. Not a list of places you wanted to go, but what's the one or two sentences that tell the story of a summer that meant something? This was the summer I finally unplugged, maybe long enough to remember who I was. This was the summer my husband and I fell back in love just being together. Or maybe this is the summer my kids and I built something, a relationship that they'll carry into adulthood. Or maybe, just maybe, that this is the summer that I rested, and I'm not ashamed of that because it was the most restorative thing I've done in years. And what's your sentence going to be? Because if you can write it now before the summer happens, you can actually live it, be it, and live toward it. That's your conviction. That's your anchor. And no one can tell you it's wrong because it's yours. I want to address something real because I know this conversation is happening in living rooms and I think kitchens right now, or insert wherever. And everyone's summer looks the same. And I think that this deserves to be said out loud. If you're an educator or maybe insert anything, summer is something else entirely. And for educators, you finally get to breathe. You finally get to remember that you're human again with the interest and rest of life outside of whatever that classroom is. Or maybe you're the working parent. Maybe especially the single parent. Summer isn't a vacation. Summer is logistics, camp schedules, childcare, gaps, attempting to figure out how the kids are going to be safe and stimulated while you have to still show up for your job. Or maybe you're the CEO running a business. Summer might actually be the busiest quarter for you. And taking time off feels really irresistible and maybe impossible, right? Or both. Or I should say irresponsible. And if your kids are teenagers, summer maybe look completely different for them than it does for you because they want more independence. They want their friends. They don't necessarily want to hang out with their family, and the family adventure becomes boring and they want their freedom. And all of this is true at the same time. And here's the grace in all of that. You don't have to resolve the tension perfectly. You just need to lead it with honesty. Here's to the CEO out there What if instead of planning that perfect summer, you had a family meeting and ask everyone what they needed? And then you synthesize it like would you then like you would with a leadership team. And you built a summer that honored everyone, even if it perfectly satisfied no one. That's not failure. CEOs, that's leadership. Couples, what if instead silently resenting each other's version of summer, you spent 1 hour just one sitting across from each other saying, I want to understand what this season means to you. Help me see it. Ladies, what if the summer you gave yourself the same permission to give everyone else? What if you stopped managing summer and started experiencing it? Now, there's no right or wrong answer. However, there is a wrong one. I mean, there's no right answer in all of this. There's a wrong one. And the wrong one is the one where you never decided. When you just let the calendar fill up and the weeks pass and you arrive in September's wondering what happened. Don't let that be your story this summer. You are too intentional. You are too faith driven. You are too committed to your family for that. So here's where I want to go from here. I believe all of what I said matters. And because I think of some of us, the permission is actually rest and enjoy the season has to come from something deeper than me as a podcast host telling you it's okay. I'm going to recite some scripture for you. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, this is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Summer is a season, y'all. God designed seasons, not just in the world, however, in our lives. And the invitation, not the command, the invitation is to be present, which is hard to do for many of us where our feet are in the season where you actually are in. Not the season you had last year, not the season you're hoping for next year, the summer of 2026. Genesis 2 verse 2 says, be the seventh day God had finished the work. He had been doing so much for so long, and on the seventh day, he worked from his work, or he rested from his work. And if the creator of the universe built rest in the rhythm of creation, what does that tell us about the value of rest? It's not a reward, it's productivity. It's part of design. Rest is not what happens when you've done enough. Rest is sacred. And for my CEOs that are listening to this, that are in the room, that feel guilty for stepping away, let me offer a free reframe for you. Stewardship. You believe that what you have, your business, your family, your health, is entrusted to you by God. Stewardship means maintaining what's been entrusted to you. You cannot steward what you've burnt down. Rest is an abandonment, especially abandonment of responsibility. Rest is stewardship of yourself. And in fact, Psalms 46 verse 10 says, be still and know that I am God. Be still. That word still in Hebrew, you know what it means? It means let go. It means release, let go, stop striving. So what if this summer you built it into a practice of stillness, not meditation in a trendy sense. I mean, literally stillness before God, sitting outside in the morning before the house wakes up, waking outside, or maybe walking somewhere quietly, being still enough to actually hear what he might want you to see this season. Because here's the thing about conviction, the kind I've been talking about all episode, the conviction about how to live your summer, the conviction comes from somewhere else. And for those of us who are people of faith, and it comes from spending time with the one who gives us wisdom, which then leads to discernment. James 1:5 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask. So ask, what does this summer need to be? And then listen, and then lead. All right. So I'm about to land the plane here, and I want to just make sure I leave this episode with something real, not a feeling, something for you to do. Because here's what I told you in the beginning. Influencers are going to tell you what to do this summer. Pinterest is going to have 50 great summer ideas. Instagram is going to have the highlight reel of the most beautiful places to go, the most gorgeous location. All of that is great. It's fine. None of that is evil. None of that is your conviction. Your conviction, though, comes from you. And it might change. It might look different next summer. It might change from June, July, and that's okay. That's called being alive and responsive to your season. So here's what I'm asking you to do this week before you do anything else for your summer. Step one, final 30 minutes alone. Just you, no phone, no kids, no spouse. You, a blank piece of paper. Step two, all the top of that paper, on the top, write this question. What do I want to be able to say about summer 2026 in September? Step three, write whatever comes out. Don't edit it. Don't judge it. Just let it flow. Let it go. It might be one sentence. It might be a paragraph. It might be a mess, and that's okay. Step four, take what you wrote and share it with someone. If you're married, share it with your spouse. Read it to them. Have them do the same exercise and then look at each other and find that overlap. That overlap, that's your summer. And if you're single, share with your closest friend or maybe someone in your community or your accountability that have some kind of accountability partner that makes more conviction stick. Step five, put one thing on your calendar this week that honors what you wrote. Just one. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to, it could even every Saturday morning before 10 o'clock, sit outside with your coffee or your energy drink and look at it and don't look at your phone. It could be we're taking 2 days next month and not telling the kids where we're going. It could be I'm reading that book I've been carrying around for 6 months. Just one thing, calendar this week. That's it. That's how conviction becomes reality. Just one choice. I want to bring this all the way back to where we started. That kid who woke up in the summer and felt like the day was a blank page. That wasn't just nostalgia. That was a picture of something we're designed for. The freedom to exist in a season without having to perform in it. You are still that person, even under the right responsibilities, even underneath the titles, under the roles. You are still someone who is made to live and not just function. The CEO title you carry at work, you were given more important title first. It's the head of your home, the partner to your spouse, the parent to your children, the child of God. And all of these relationships, every single one of them, get better when you are whole, when you are rested, when you are present, and when you are living with conviction instead of just reaching for demands. Y'all, summer is a gift. It's a 90-ish day gift that nobody can buy back once they're gone. And the most powerful thing I can say to you is this: don't let someone else live it for you. Not the influencer, not the bucket list, not the fear that you're missing out, not, I think it's called FOMO, not even expectations from your family until you've gotten clear about what you need first. Because when you know what your summer is for, you're going to show up for your family differently. You're going to lead your household differently. You're going to love your spouse differently. And your parents and your kids you're going to love them differently as well. And that clarity is not selfishness. That clarity is what I call leadership. So here's my word for all of you heading into summer 2026. Be convicted, be present, lead your household with intention. And for the love of everything, go outside, breathe some real air, smell like outside. And remember, what if it felt like to be a kid back in June again or July? That feeling is still available to you. You just let it go. You just have to decide and live it. I appreciate all of you taking the time today and spending time with me. And I want to give you a quick word from our sponsor. Can't sleep, got the aches and pains. You got to check out this CBD oil, which is Amos tested. It's proven formula. You can get 50% off for being a Michael Hicks Live to Thrive podcast listener. I was almost going to use my old name of my podcast, but all you got to do is you go to superfungummies.com and you check on any 3 sizes of the CBD oil and you put in cap locks, new heights, you get 50% off. It's a great deal. You don't want to miss that out. And you can sleep again. You can feel better and more powerful. Now, thank you all for spending this time with me. I'll see you on the next episode, and go live your summer with purpose. As always, 1% better in mind, body, and soul, and always Stay flexed.